Are there any Twilight Dragons still around? Yes, it was confirmed in a recent expansion that there are some around. They hid from the players and from anyone hunting down the Twilight Dragons to a point that there are now dragons that are breeding size. I think they were found out in Legion during one of the class order hall quests that that there are Twilight Dragons breeding. So they are still around and they're a threat still. But yeah, there's one aspect per flight. Alexstrasza, Ysera, Malagos, Nozdormu, Neltharion. But obviously, all but 2 of them are dead now. So you have Malagos died, now it's Kalagos as the new aspect. Neltharion, Deathwing, died. There's no Black Dragon aspect. Ysera died. Her daughter is now in charge. Well, one of her daughters, right? Is in charge. I don't remember her name because I don't give a fuck about her. She's literally a character that just kind of spawned out of nowhere, so I don't really give a fuck about her. But she's now the person in charge of the Green Dragon Flight. Nozdormu, I am 90 to 100% sure is going to die this expansion. I don't really see Alexstrasza dying because, one, I don't foresee a storyline where Alexstrasza could be killed. I don't really see a story where she could be killed. Second of all, she's the poster girl. Third of all, a lot of fans were already pissed when Ysera died. Imagine Alexstrasza, who's way more popular. They don't want their cover girl to die. So I seriously doubt on all 3 of those reasons that Alexstrasza is going to die. Nozdormu is 100% going to die this expansion because now, I have already predicted this. I predicted this before they even announced Dragonflight because, you know, the leak was out there. So I was giving off like, oh, well, if this leak of Dragonflight is correct, this is what I think about it. So I was saying before the Dragonflight expansion was even announced, if the rumors were true that Dragonflight is real, Nozdormu is going to be the final boss and he's going to die. Because of Murozond. Now, a lot of fucking idiots are like, well, didn't we already kill Murozond? Future Murozond. Remember, the cycle is Nozdormu sees his future self as Murozond, and that is what starts the events of him becoming Murozond. Now, it's not instant, it's gradual. Now, because we killed Murozond, Nozdormu saw himself as Murozond, so it's already, the cycle is already started. Now, do you remember the show That's So Raven? I don't know how old you are, but if you watch That's So Raven, remember, there's been almost every single episode, not every, but most of the episodes, she sees a future sight, right? And it's like, you know, something stupid like, oh, she slips on water and falls on her ass. Well, then she starts becoming paranoid. Oh, man, well, I better stay away from all water, right? She starts becoming paranoid to avoid all... This is an example, right? I'm not quoting an exact episode, but she'll start, you know, avoiding all water bottles, oh, this person's mopping, I'm gonna avoid, because that means I'll slip and fall like my future sight predicted. Well, what happens? Something happens, she gets into shenanigans, and she's the one, by avoiding all the water, who ends up doing whatever. She's the one who ends up spilling the water and falling on her ass and being laughed at by everyone. So, from her seeing the future sight, she wants to prevent the future from happening, and in doing so, causes it to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen to Nozdormu. He knows this is an unescapable fate. Now, at first, it kind of feels like he's kind of like accepted his fate, but I bet he's going to start getting more and more paranoid. Stuff is happening. I don't know what's going on. I want to prevent this from happening, and I want, over the course of the expansion, I don't want it to just come out of the blue, right? Even though we know it's going to happen, I don't want it to come out of the blue. I want it to be gradual, because we know it's going to happen, so you might as well make something out of it. Have it be progressive, gradual. You see him start to get paranoid. You see him start to get frustrated, angry. Just like Anakin in Star Wars, he wants to prevent Padme's death. He starts to get frustrated, paranoid, angry. How can I prevent this? And by him trying to pursue him, trying to prevent it, he ends up making it happen. You start seeing it through the course of the expansion. And then finally, at the end of the expansion, or not the end, I would say, like, you know how we saw Argus, right? You know, like at the end of that patch, and then Illidan opened up Argus. There's Argus. Same thing. That the end of the 0.2 or 0.3 patch, we defeat whoever the enemy is, Chromatus or whatever the fuck, you know, right? The son of Galakron. I don't know. I seriously doubt they're gonna be an actual Galakron. Is it Galakron or Galacress? I get the two mixed up now. I seriously doubt they're gonna bring Galakron back. They might bring his heir or a version of him, right? We kill whatever boss is in 0.2, 0.3 expansion. And then at the very end, when all is said and you see the cinematic of us defeating whatever bosses of that patch. What the fuck is this lag? Then Nozdormu just suddenly like something happens and he just you know what? Fuck this shit, fuck this. I'm gonna do everything I can to prevent whatever the fuck is happening. And by him saying, I'm going to prevent this by happening, he starts opening up timeways, fucking with the timeline, doing all this, and then you see it. His veins bulge and they're white or black or whatever color, you know, the infinity colors, and he turns into an infinite dragon, thus becoming Murozond. And now it's like, oh shit, we gotta prevent him from going crazy, and he ends up being the final boss. And we saw his descent into madness, and we saw him turn into Murozond. And then, because the cycle needs to repeat, we will have past Nozdormu come and help us defeat him. He will help us defeat him, along with, you know, whatever the fuck else happens, right? You know, Rathian, Alexstrasza. But Murozond from the past will come to us to help us defeat our current Murozond. So that way, the cycle can continue in the past, and the timeway is not disrupted. Because, you know, what's happened has happened. This is now our timeline. Nozdormu has to see himself become Murozond for it to continue happening. Therefore, the timeway is not disrupted, and it continues on in the cycle. You said they can only create a new one every 400 years. Is that for all of the aspects, or do they each get one? That's actually a very good question. I believe it's for all of them, not just for one. Gensu Ichida says, I can tell you for sure at least one of the current aspects is going to die the next X-Pack. Yeah, it's going to be Nozdormu. Murozond didn't die, though, if I remember correctly. No, he did die. He is dead. The future Murozond is dead. Our Murozond has yet to come to pass, which is Nozdormu. Our Nozdormu has yet to become Murozond. God. I haven't heard that show in years. So that's Nozdormu. Yes. Remember, Nozdormu, move around the letters in his name, create Murozond. It's all of the letters of his name just mixed around. Murozond is Nozdormu. Nozdormu is Murozond. I do not think about the pink elephant. What? Okay, I like the idea. Okay, yeah. Okay, everyone's caught up. We're caught up. It's been forever since I did End Time Legit. Yeah, I haven't done that in years, but I still remember it. We killed the future one in End Time Dungeon, I think. Yeah, we killed the future... Because remember, we were in Caverns of Time. Every single dungeon except for... 2. Which would be Dragon Soul. Which I don't agree with Dragon Soul, the raid portal, being in Caverns of Time. And, Not End Time. Not Well of Eternity. The other one. The third one. I don't remember what it's called. But that dungeon takes place current time. I think both of those, the portals should have been in, Dragonblight. Because that's where they take place. So it makes sense for them to be there. And it's current time. I don't know why they're in Caverns of Time dungeon. But yeah, besides those two, because those two are current time, all of the dungeons and raids in Caverns of Time take place in a different timeline. End Time takes place in the future, the could-be future. So that's the future we are looking at if we do not stop Deathwing. And Murozond had already come to pass. Now, we defeated Murozond. Our Nozdormu helped us defeat him, and he saw himself become Murozond. And he gives a whole speech at the end about, you know, so it goes. Because he's talking about the cycle of that will eventually become his future. Even though that is a different timeline, right? Because we changed we stopped Deathwing. So that's obviously not going to become our future. But he will still become Murozond because he still becomes paranoid about becoming Murozond, thus creating the cycle, like I said with That's So Raven. Like I said with Anakin. They create the cycle by trying to not create the cycle. That's basically what it is. It's the paranoia. Hang on, since my music stopped, let me get on an auto attack cycle real quick. Here, intimidate. Let me find WoW End Time Noz. Hang on. Maybe because this is somebody playing the actual oh my god. Yeah, that's somebody actually playing the dungeon. Let me go to the end. Okay, so here's the end. Let me right about here.
At last it has come to pass.
Okay, yeah. There's gonna be sound effects, but
of my demise. The loop is closed. My future self will cause no more harm. Still, in time, I will fall to madness. And you, heroes, will vanquish me. The cycle will repeat. So it goes. What matters is that Azeroth did not fall. That we survived to fight another day.
there you go. That's all you needed to know. Pink elephant is the same thing you described about Phenomenon, trying to escape an edible, like with Anakin. Oh, okay. When I think of pink elephant, I think of being drunk. You're seeing the pink elephants. You know, like from Dumbo. And then World of Warcraft did that with Brewfest with the pink elephants. Dragon Soul's raid portal being in Caverns of Time makes sense from a gameplay storytelling standpoint, just not from a logistical standpoint, or logical standpoint. No, it doesn't make sense. It takes place in our time, not in the past or present. I mean, not in the past or future, and it takes place in the Wyrmrest Temple. So the portal should have been at Wyrmrest Temple. Because, okay, so if you go down to the bottom of Wyrmrest Temple, there's the portals that go to all of the different dragon shrines. Well, they're raid portals. You know, one takes you to the Obsidian Sanctum, one takes you to Ruby Sanctum. The one for, I don't know, bronze or black, that one should have taken you to the raid, and whatever other one is there should have taken you to the dungeon that is current time. I don't remember what it was called. It's not the Well of Eternity one, because that one takes place in the past. End Time takes place in the future. It's the third one in the series. I just don't remember what it was called. Hour of Twilight Dungeon. Yes, that one. Yeah, our Charlie. I get you. I know. Sorry, okay? I know, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be like Dobby now. Wait. Wait. Bad Dobby. I'm sorry, okay? I get it.